Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome. Dorsey's Resource. Welcome. This is going to be open forum questions and answer part three. Uh, Welcome. We're live. First, before we get started, this information is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her own homework and research regarding the information being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice. In the event you need to seek a competent professional, please do so at one's own leisure. It is encouraged. With that being said, simply my opinions. All rights are reserved. Now let's go. So I'm gonna kind of give some time, the little bit of time. I don't plan to be before you that long. I just wanted to do kind of a continuation from last night. I'm thinking about doing another one sometime later today, where I'm actually going to go have a specific topic I'm going to touch on, because I've been meaning to go hard into some areas, subjects for a while, because some people that call me and ask me questions, whether it be about the global currency reset or the black card or the private Pastor Tony King seminar, which was a private clandestine operation. A lot of people out there still are maybe newbies and don't understand, or maybe not aware of what previously took place in the past. And I do have credentials behind the information. I do have documents to back up what I'm saying. Best believe that. And, so I just kind of wanted to kind of go over some information. This is like a freestyle that I think is important for people to stay on track when you research this type of information, because there's a fight where, the mainstream media is trying to censor certain content creators and people who put out very empowering information, whether you believe these people overall or what their political views may be. It is critical. Okay, I see someone just jumped into the chat. Always a pleasure to watch, bro. Thank you, Giovanni Aponte. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining. So I think there's some information. I wanted to kind of throw some names out there. I thought about giving this video a specific topic, but I decided to just have it open forum, because I recommend please look these names of these were like famous activists and people up. Some of them have passed away. Some of them I previously mentioned in other videos. I think it's very critical to watch these documentaries that I recommend and actually go over these people. It will provide a lot of credibility, and it proves that the mainstream media, many of them, are lying to you about certain things and what's going on today. Please look up Ted Gunderson. He was a former FBI agent. His videos should still be on YouTube. Please look up Ted Gunderson and research the people affiliated with him. Please check out Noreen Gosh. Please type her name up on YouTube, Noreen Gosh. Look up Nancy Grace did a story on it yesterday when her son went missing some years ago, back during the 1980s. But this will help you understand kind of why some of the things are going on today, like with Hollywood being exposed, the entertainment industry, what people have been saying for a while, and the mainstream media or certain outlets out there try to discredit this information as conspiracy, when there's factual information that is credible. There's people who risked their lives. Some even lost their lives or just naturally passed on. But there's those of us who are awake. We're here to pass this information on to show you and help you understand. There was a movement that's been going on for quite a while, and please share this information with your loved ones and family members so you can build the momentum up and continue to get the word out. So I see some other people jumped into the chat. What's up with the RV? Is it true, Tony Ingram? Yeah, I definitely believe the RV is going down. I'll go over that in a little bit. With Noreen Gosh, she was actually the mother that was behind the modern day Amber Alert system, the modern day Amber Alert. And there's a documentary you want to look up. Please check out. I mentioned this in some of my previous videos in the past. Some of the videos I had to take down. I won't go into the reasons. Again, I went into the reason in the previous video. But check out the documentary called Conspiracy of Silence. Go on YouTube, type up Conspiracy of Silence. It was a banned documentary by the Discovery Channel. not the one where there's other people have used that name to try to build up their search and get views. But there was a documentary you want to look up specifically called Conspiracy of Silence, and it may say how it was banned from the Discovery Channel. Please check out that particular documentary as well. Hold on for a second. All right. Yeah, had a minor distraction there. So I'm gonna jump back to the chat real quick. So I said, what was up with the RV? Tony Ingram asked. RV, I believe, is still going down. In my opinion, it's being stalled by particular individuals, and I have my suspicions. I did a video. You want to check out my previous video I did on who's holding up the GCR, that stands for Global Currency Reset, because I was told by some people, some contacts that I had that were pretty high up, that are in touch with some people through 6 degrees of separation. There's some people that are higher up than them, and they trickled down the information and told me we're allegedly waiting on this reset. So I take my mind off of it sometimes, to reiterate, to not pay attention to it, because they stated they don't want people to know the specific date or time period that they plan on for this to go down. Okay, Giovanni in the chat says also people should look up William Cooper. Yes, William Cooper wrote the book, if you're not familiar with, called Behold of the Pale of the White Horse or something like that. You can look up on Amazon or just search it on Yahoo or Google search engine. That's a very important book. That's been around for quite a while, because I mentioned David Icke and some other people in the past. I recommend that book, Children of the Matrix. I already did a review on it. It was in a collaboration review I did. I also did an individual review. To please look that up. But definitely William Cooper's information, and also Phil Snyder. He had a level 2. A friend of mine who was in the military that had a secret security clearance actually put me up on Phil Snyder. This is a true story, real talk. I'm not making this up. And I got the concept. I watched some of Phil's material, but he was a structural engineer. He used to work for the government, and I think he had a level 2 security clearance where he helped build some of the underground facilities, some of the underground structures that the elites have, that they keep top secret, quote unquote. That would be considered conspiracy, but it's not. And I want to say everything is not a conspiracy. You have what's called conspiracy facts, not theory. Theory is something that's theoretical. When you look up the definition, you have fact is something that actually is confirmed, that happened. You also have conspiracy reality, which is going on in real time, because conspiracy is just simply, the word obviously means when individuals conspire or collude in secrecy. But you have factual evidence, and this is what I plan to go over to shut these lies down, these misconceptions from some of these gatekeepers and trolls out here who will try to misdirect you, and try to stir up division on purpose, so the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, or whatever. I'm gonna jump back in the chat. Camilla Barnes, hello, greetings to you. Big shout out Daniel Mendoza, blessings to you and all the team. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. Camilla Barnes, I'm waiting for you to return my email. Okay, shoot me another email. I'm not sure, because some people have different names from their email addresses versus their screen names. And another thing what some people do is, some people want, when you're hiding behind, I'm not saying I respect anonymity, but when some people don't show an actual face for their screen capture or their YouTube screen name, and they might know me in person, and they assume that I know who they are in person. I don't, unless you approach me and let me know that you're under that name. So just similar concept. Shoot me another email so I'll know who you are, and then I can go from there. It's Dorsey's Resource 2017 at gmail.com for any inquiries. I am busy, and I do reserve the right to try to because I don't have a staff to screen my emails for security purposes, because I had some things I won't go into maybe in this video. I'll say for another video. You have people out there that don't have good intentions. However, most of you all are good people overall. I do love networking and meeting new people, but I do have a very extremely busy schedule. Best believe that. Okay, next first, Tony Ingram is Joyce Reed real. Are you talking about Joy Reid from MSNBC? I'm not sure who you're referring to, Tony Ingram. If that's the same, if the Joy Reid you're talking about from MSNBC that comes on. True Seeker says they use legal tender to enslave us. Yes, they do. Definitely on point. True Seeker, real money is illegal, and they are hiding more land and resources. Yes, definitely. They are. Tony Ingram says, sorry, her name is Joyce Meyer. Is she real? Is she the televangelist that you're referring to? Or whatnot? I've heard of her before. I can see Money Boy in the building. I got to jump down and give a big shout out to you. I haven't seen you in a while. Money Boy in the building. Big shout out to you. You know, what's good? Dorsey's Resources in the building. Yeah, big shout out, Money Boy. You know, appreciate you, fam. You a scientist holding it down. You know what I'm saying? I got to give a shout out, credit where credit is due. You know, it's all keeping it real in the field. You know, we come from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life. So I will jump back up in the chat where True Seeker mentioned they use legal tender. Yes, I did. I was thinking about doing a video, and I actually recorded one already where I went over the dollar bill, breaking it down. I don't think I have lately. I got to get some more change. I just thought about some more singles, but I thought about doing a video, another breakdown of the dollar bill where I'll go over, you know, the front and the back part. It has a lot of symbolism, and even some of the $20 bills, you know, that had the when you folded a certain way, how you could had the 9/11 Twin Towers thing, like it was all planned, you know, ahead of time. You know, very interesting, cryptic. You know, they use encryptions like cryptic code. That's why I highly recommending check out the movie National Treasure Part 1 and 2 with Nicolas Cage. Just symbolically, it will help you kind of understand the information and redemption movement, that they didn't want this information to be simple for people, because the elites, they made things difficult. They're the biggest haters on the planet. They also change stuff around to make things more difficult for the stampede of people, or people that are trying to learn this information. Because when I attended this seminar some years back, you know, I felt it was kind of cold-blooded way they just left us, the rest of us, hanging, and some people, they held them by their hand and walked them through, and you know, just cut the rest of us off. And I just thought it was pretty cold, like taking candy away from a baby or toddler. You know, baby is going to be really hurt. You know, it's kind of like how they did us. No other way I can kind of explain. It was just devastating. But at the same time, I haven't given up hope. I'm still researching, still studying. But this is what these people in the high up caste system, they use a class system real high up in the ruling class elite. They have the cheat sheet to some of this stuff. True Seeker says in the chat, aliens are fake. Yeah, I read, you know, I don't really talk about that stuff dealing with Area 51. You know, I'm not saying personally, I don't really get into the alien stuff, the UFOs. I'm not saying that it isn't real, but things that are hard to prove, I don't necessarily deal with, because people will be quick to label you a conspiracy theorist. Remember, theory is theoretical, something that hasn't been proven, but you do have conspiracy facts, where things that have actually happened, where people conspired, government declassifies information. You also have reality, which is going on in real time. Jump back in the chat. Gabriel Lake says, Money Boy Films, how can one network with you have material? Okay, that's to directed to Money Boy. I have material I've written, nothing more than that. Okay. D Billionaire in the chat. God bless everyone that's a part of this, to bless those who aren't, in Christ Jesus' name. Amen. Yep, amen. And I say Ashe as well to that. Even though I grew up Christian, I am awake to the truth. I spent time in the Black conscious community. Many of these things, these different disciplines, overlap one another, despite some people that feel like they have different belief systems, actually praying, in my opinion, to the same God, or it's just a rehash of a previous belief system. Like the Bible is a retelling of ancient stories, like the Sumerian civilization had a story of the flood account, for example. It wasn't just where you learned about Noah's Ark in the Bible, but previous civilizations. You have to study the ancient Persian civilization, the Phoenicians. I learned this actually in history too. I went to a public school and a private school. I had very good history teachers that went over information, and then people I met privately. But yes, I still believe in a God, also a creator. I also like to say it's like another term, for God, or creator, creation, creator of life, the universe. And I can get deep. I'm aware of the scientific aspect that gets into quantum physics. I had a friend, he was a Christian, but he was also a scientist that broke down some things that dealt with quantum physics and things as well, and tied in the analogies, how some of the terms in the Bible are cryptic, like when God said, I'm the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and end. How can you be everywhere at once? Omnipresence. One way to explain that, we all are made up of energy, as some say, and I'm not part of New Age or anything like that, but just he was tying in how some of these terms are encrypted and putting it in layman's terms, like you have protons, neutrons, and electrons, and an entity that we have a consciousness, like our brains are more sophisticated, but the matter that is out here in the reality, the dense world that we live in, has a consciousness to tell it to do its job or form its shape to stay in place. It's real deep. I love getting into science, but it's a combination. This universe is one. If you have an open mind and you know how to tie things together, this world is really deep. And this planet is older than what many people may think. Archaeologists, anthropologists have proven this planet is billions of years old, too. You don't not only have ancient civilizations, you also have prehistoric civilizations of animals too. There's even a pre-period of the life forms known as dinosaurs that was a pre-diagnostic period prior to where they have ancestors as well, before things changed. It sounds like we got an Amber Alert going on, or maybe a storm warning in the area. It's going on. Okay, I have to check that out later. Yeah, it's a storm going on right now. Came up on my phone. You can opt to actually have that warning taken off. I'm gonna get back in the chat real quick. Dorsey, keep building, bro. Jabriel Lakes, thank you, appreciate it. No doubt. Giovanni, why is there so much pedophilia in Hollywood? That's a good question. Check out, I mentioned that movie earlier, Conspiracy of Silence, and this is for the ladies out there. Please help wake the women up in your family. A lot of the women have a tendency to be. I got in a debate with some sisters years ago about this. This was at the Southfield Library in Michigan, where they said they felt like it was more women who are awake to the truth than the guys, and I feel like it's way more men who are awake. I feel like the women have a tendency to be brainwashed, especially what I see in the Black community. There's like this bubblegum and flowers mentality that this stuff doesn't exist, this doesn't go on. They looked at Hillary Clinton as a guardian angel when she was connected to that pedophile ring. Her good friend Huma Abedin, who was married to Anthony Weiner, when the NYPD police discovered what was on his laptop. And then you had the FBI DC come into New York, shut down the investigation. I just found out yesterday from Dr. Corsi. I couldn't believe it. They shut down the investigation. I hear DC police is still holding the laptop because Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was head of the DNC, Democratic National Convention, was trying to get it back because it has all the evidence that proves how Hillary was connected to that sex cult with Jerry Epstein, how it connects to that NXIM cult with Hollywood, that connects to Richard Branson or whatever. So evidence is out there. People don't want to talk about it. This is why I felt Trump was the lesser of the two evils. Trump, he's not perfect. I'm not saying what happened with Ginger Daniels and everything, but Trump is in the women, grown women. He's not in the children. These people, especially part of the Democratic Party, who are liberals, progressives, they're in the pedophilia, they're in the Satanism. Look at Jay-Z's connection with Marina Abramovic, for example. Just tie in, and look at how Kanye's coming out, exposing some things, because he ran in some of those same circles. Where I hear his wife, Kim Kardashian, went to some of those parties or whatever, but it doesn't mean everybody that rolls with that same crowd is just as wicked or corrupt. But it's devastating, and it's all gonna come out eventually. A lot of people are finding out, waking up to the truth. It's a very sad thing that people live in this bubble and think everything is just bubblegum and flowers. They want to be in all these different reality shows. America's Dancing with the Stars, America's Got Talent, and some of these shows like Empire, power, especially a lot of people in the black community. They say they want to build, but they're into the street cult, gang, thug culture mentality. A lot of the women, are into these type of guys and live in this bubble that everything is bubblegum and flowers, and they want to keep up with the Joneses. So they don't want to talk about this stuff like the topic that you brought up in the chat, Giovanni, why there's so much pedophilia. And it's a initiation thing too, where these people have been involved in this stuff for years, and they don't want to put, allow certain people to be in positions of power. They use it to blackmail people, even politicians, and stuff. And that's why I mentioned these documentaries as well. Check out, once again, Conspiracy of Silence. Don't forget, please watch that documentary and look up Noreen Gosh, who she was. Even Nancy Grace did a show on it years ago. John Walsh from America's Most Wanted did a story on it. There were some other things. And look up the people associated. Look up some of these former MK Ultra sex slaves. Kathy O'Brien. Please look up her name as well. I'm trying to think of some others. Bryce Taylor. Look up Kathy O'Brien and Bryce Taylor. This confirms this stuff has been going on for years, and they murdered people. They have blood on their hands, and universally, to every action in Newton's third law of physics, to every action is an equal and opposite reaction. So you have to pay for what you do. These these crimes, people think they're getting away with stuff, but no matter how much money you have, anybody can be taken down. I see. Lastly, in the chat, Money Boy Film says, yes, D, you on it right now. Yeah, I'm just freestyling, just flowing. But I want to give you guys empowering information. Before I shut it down, I'm trying to think of some more documentaries. If you guys don't pop back in with any more questions real quick, I got a little bit more time before I shut it down. What are some other? I mentioned a lot of times in the past, you guys hear me reiterate this. The reason I repeat myself and I repeat these documentaries because they are so important. And please spread this information to your nieces, your nephews, your children, your loved ones. Warn them. This is how you will stop the cabal from brainwashing people, from bringing in this new world order, this totalitarian state, this ruling class elite has planned. This information is more important than those shows I mentioned, such as America's Got Talent, American Idol, Empire. This stuff I'm going over is more important. Even Dr. Phil did a show. I heard that they banned Where's a Woman, where she was sold into a sex trafficking ring, where she was sent to a private island where these rich men were chasing her down. And then they banned the episode that Dr. Phil did. So there's people that have tried to get this information out, people in the public who sincerely care, but there's criminals and people within the deep state that a lot of times are trying to suppress and keep this information from coming out. And I also believe this is the reason why YouTube and Google and Facebook and Twitter is in bed with censoring certain content creators and people, even Alex Jones with InfoWars and other alternative media people, from warning people about this information. This is a factual stuff that's more important. This is why, in my opinion, Trump was the better candidate, because Trump is not into children. Hillary Clinton is evidence from Anthony Weiner's laptop. She's into this stuff. She's connected this with her husband, Bill, Jerry Epstein, Richard Branson, and these other people from that NXIVM sex code or whatever it was called. Because I even saw our local news in Detroit, WXYZ Channel 7, report on it, that the actor Allison Mack from Smallville, whatever, was indicted or whatever. Some of these people are in big trouble, and Harvey Weinstein. So, this stuff has been going on for years. So this is hardcore, concrete evidence that has been proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's factual stuff that is important. And these documentaries, as I mentioned, you need to check out Conspiracy of Silence. Even look up the attorney. I heard he since passed away, John D. Camp. He wrote a book. You want to look up, go on Amazon.com and look up the books that John D. Camp wrote. And it was another book that an investigative journalist wrote. I can't think of the name, but it was called, if you type in the Franklin Cover-Up, type in the book, The Franklin Cover-Up, this will provide more solid evidence. And this is something that can bring the deep state and the New World Order down too. This will, because wake the women up, because in their mind, a lot of the women, like I said, they live in a bubblegum and flowers reality. But once they find out the solid truth and who these people are connected with, a lot of them too will switch and leave the Democratic Party, because the Democrats are far worse. And many of their people are into Satanism and in this pedophilia, occult stuff, because they don't care about open borders, drug trafficking, drugs being brought in. You know, like the same thing with these immigrant children. They're trying to act like it's new, but it was happening under Obama when they started closing the Walmarts down. And then, you know, they're trying to play these mind games that they like it's Trump's fault. This was going on for a fact because it was a guy in Detroit. He was an investigative journalist on our public news station named Charlie LaDuff on Fox 2 News that went down there and showed the coyotes. That's like the code name of the smugglers that smuggle the children or families from foreign countries. And when they separate people, just like if you get locked up and go to jail, your family member doesn't necessarily go to jail with you. So they don't really care. The Democrats are playing this game back and forth, but this same thing was happening under Obama, and he's trying to pretend like he was a guardian angel when he had scandals. He had the Lois Lerner, the IRS scandal. Him and Hillary were connected to Benghazi with Ambassador Stevens' death, getting killed. Look what happened to Seth Rich. He was a Bernie Sanders supporter, and she did Bernie really dirty. Bernie was supposed to win that, and he actually would have stood a better chance than Hillary beating Trump heads up. That's real talk. That proved that. That's why a lot of the Bernie supporters were split. They left the DNC, Democratic National Convention, because I read the articles. I follow both the RNC and DNC, even though I'm not a registered voter. If I would have voted, I definitely would have voted for Trump. He would have definitely been my choice, no doubt, because all this corruption I'm mentioning from the Democratic Party. At least Bernie and some of the Democrats that supported him were trying to make an attempt to try to, you know, at least clean some of this stuff up or bring it to light. Like when Danny Glover, the actor, came to the DNC and he supported Nina Turner out of Cleveland because Hillary didn't let her speak. She was a black woman based out of Cleveland because she was a Bernie Sanders supporter or whatever. And Danny Glover, the actor, came up there and spoke on her behalf. So it shows you how they're trying to, even within their own party, they just did themselves in. And look at Donna Brazile, what she leaked out. So it's so much evidence that's out there. You know, I'm not trying to get political, but you see how this stuff ties in with this. And that's why I feel the way that I do, why I walked away. And I'm probably going to do another video about the reason I walked away from the Democratic Party a long, long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But it's just real talk. And you guys, I'm giving you the evidence. Look up Ted Gunderson. I went over Noreen Gosh. She was the mother that led to the modern day Amber Alert. Please check out Bryce Taylor, Kathy O'Brien, Ted Gunderson. Check out the documentary Conspiracy of Silence. Look up the attorney John D. Camp. This stuff was even tied in with the Jerry Sandusky thing, what he was doing with that Second Mile organization, which was a front. You know, they use foundations and charities as a cover to launder money and then pose as though they're philanthropists and good people. Not saying that everybody who's rich is evil or wicked like this, but that was a cover, that charity that Sandusky had called the Second Mile or whatever. And this stuff goes the way back then or whatever. So you can get this information still on YouTube. So this is hardcore, solid, concrete evidence. I didn't really mean to go into all this stuff, but since Giovanni in the chat area brought this up, I want to be thorough and answer your question. Until next time, I appreciate everybody for joining me. You can follow me on Dorsey's Resource, at Dorsey's Resource, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. I'm also looking to move to other platforms because of the massive censorship. So just pray for me, and I'll be praying for you guys as well to spread the word, get the word out. And thank you guys for joining me. Until next time, peace.